Okay, so I'm here with Alan Turkington, who plays Alexander in our forthcoming show, Stars in the Morning Sky. Now, I've heard that he's actually one of the only cast members to have worked at the Belgrade Theatre previously, so I thought if you could explain a bit of that to us.
That's right. My first job was here at the Belgrade. It was Arthur Miller's A View from the Bridge, and it was a co-production between the Belgrade and Harrogate Theatre. So I have very fond memories. It was a lovely production, and it was a great big theatre to work in as your first job. But at that time, you didn't have. It was prior to the refurbishment, and so.
It's quite interesting, sort of working at the B2 now. So
no, it is, which is just one of the most wonderful studio spaces I've ever seen. So I feel very lucky to be doing this production in it.
That's great. And so you're playing Alexander in Stars in the Morning Sky. I thought I'd ask a bit about your take on the play so far. What do you feel it is? Some people might think it's quite a serious drama, but we know that it's got quite a few comedy elements.
It is. It's a bit of a left field piece, but it's an incredibly engaging piece, which is often very, very funny. It's very much character driven, big outlandish characters which are wonderful for actors to play, but I think also really wonderful for audiences to see as well. And when you take sort of 7 really discordant characters and put them in quite an alien situation, obviously there's a fair amount of drama that ensues from that, but there's also an awful lot of humour, and rehearsals have been a giggle.
And one of those outlandish characters, we could say, is yours, which is Alexander. Do you want to explain a bit about his character to us?
Well, Alexander is a patient at the local mental institution, but that's not to say that he suffers from mental health issues himself, but he might. We don't know. Of course, as we know now, at the time in Russia in 1980, the authorities had a habit of rounding anyone up who disagreed with the state, disagreed with religion, had any creativity that they couldn't control, and they would say they had mental health issues, and they would put them in asylums, and these asylums kept getting bigger and bigger. And in fact, the play is set in a building that was used as an asylum. So Alexander used to be a patient there, but now he's moved up the road to an even bigger asylum. And they would file a lot of these patients were filed under the condition sluggish schizophrenia, which was a type of schizophrenia which wasn't recognized by any other psychiatric authority in the world except the former Soviet Union, as a convenient way of saying, well, you've clearly got mental health
none more important with the Olympics obviously coming around at that time for them.
Indeed, yes. So as well as these group of women, these prostitutes that have been cleared from the streets of Moscow, they would want to get any unsavory types out of Moscow. But in fact, I've been there possibly for years.
And in this case, you've all been brought together in this one sort of moment.
Yes, indeed. Alexander has a habit of going on walkabouts from his own institution now, and so he's come back to have a look at the old place, as he says, and finds this group of extremely interesting women there.
and I guess you're naturally very excited about the play about to kick off.
Yes, no, I am indeed. We got to see the set in situ yesterday, which is it's massive for a studio space. I mean, the space that we're playing on here is bigger than the space that I played on in the West End and on Broadway. It's wonderful, and so yeah, can't wait to get started.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for talking to us, Alan.
All right, thank you very much.